Hey guys, today I'm going to be running you through an Abbasid build order that I've been working on lately. It does focus on using most of the Abbasid unique features, and it incorporates an age up option that is currently overlooked by most other players. I'll actually see most players opting towards the Eco Wing, which is good if you're planning on dropping an early TC and going for a greedy boom. But in the case of just having one TC, I don't recommend ever going up with the Eco Wing just because it's not actually going to boost your eco any faster. It's just going to save you a bit of food cost, 25 to be exact, on each bill. So I'm going to be guiding you through the early to mid game macro on my build. This build is especially good against opponents that have a greedy opening. If you are up against someone that is dropping a second TC straight away, this is going to be a great way to punish them. I do not recommend this strategy against English players though, just because the longbows are just going to be too strong for your unit composition, especially if you don't have the military wing age up, which will grant your camels will grant an extra armor to your infantry. So that's the only way I can see your bows ever being able to contest the English longbow. This strategy is actually focused on having a really good timing push, as well as having a really strong single TC economy. I'll walk you through exactly why within the video. So, I've actually created a written guide which you can follow step by step, which is available in my Discord. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check that out. I've also written two variations. One is going to be focused on dealing with the early night civs, and the other is just going for a little bit more of a greedier approach. So we're going to start off by putting all our bills on berries to begin with, and we're going to immediately start searching for sheep with our scout. Now, the first field we're creating, we actually want to put that on food too. And then, first we're actually going to build a house with the first field, and then we're going to put him on food here right after. So next we're actually going to put two vills on wood. So the next two new vills will come over to wood. First one will build a lumber camp. The other one will task to the same tree of the initial vill that we send out, just so that we avoid wasting time chopping down separate trees. There we go. Continue exploring with your scout. If you aren't aware of where the sheep are more likely to spawn on a certain map, I recommend just running around your base in a circular pattern just so you can collect all your safe sheep at home. And you're not risking losing any sheep to your opponent if they decide to come over to your side of the map first. So now we're going to send, after the two vills on wood, we're going to send our new vills across to gold, and we're going to be sending the next three over there. Just keep continuing with our scout. Once we've explored our side of the map with all the sheep, we'll drop them off at home, and then we'll start exploring their side of the map to see what kind of strategy, or at least get an idea of what they're going to be doing. If they are gathering stone, that's a good indication that they'll be going for a second TC. And that is actually perfect for this strategy because this build is really great for punishing the greedy players. Once we hit 50 wood here, we're actually going to build the House of Wisdom. Once this is built, we should actually have the resources, or very close to the resources, to age up. Now I do make a little bit of mistake and forget to task my TC here, but you want to put this next vill on wood. You'll see here, I'll just kind of take him off here. I realized I made a bit of a mistake. Now, ideally, if you were versing a real opponent, you wouldn't just have your scout sitting in your base right now. You would go and scout exactly what they're doing. So we click on the gold mine to see how much gold is taken from it. If you see it's exactly 3,800, which is 200 less than what it began with, then you can manually task your vills to drop off the gold so we can get a quicker age up time in. So once we've aged, we actually want to pull most of our vills off food, with the exception of 4, so we can keep a constant vill production. Now, the reason we do this is so that when we are aging, we can actually get the first tier of our golden age from the House of Wisdom here. In order to do that, we need to build 10 building structures within this radius, as you can see right here. See, we've got 6 out of 10. We're going to go for 10 out of 10 here. If we are planning on opening a barracks, because either one, you scout your enemy and they're building stables, or they look like they're macroing for a stable, then you can actually build a barracks in age 1 in transition, and that can be your 10th building towards the golden age. If not, you can just go straight to the golden age with houses. Once we have 9 vills here, roughly 9 vills, we want to switch our rally point over onto food so we can start getting pikes out on top of the vills here. So as you can see, scouted the stone. This is just the computer, so I don't even think they get out of age 1 in this game. So this is our 10th building towards the golden age. So once this is built, we will hit the golden age and we'll get a 10% economic buff, which is pretty awesome. Now, as soon as we age, we want to get the preservation of knowledge, which we'll see in a second here. And what this is going to do is going to reduce the cost of all our technologies by 30%. And the reason we do this is so we actually get a really good eco early on from a single TC, whilst we're able to still mass a big amount of units and get early military upgrades. So it's all about having tempo in this game. So we're going to be looking to get our upgrades before our opponent, both military upgrades and also eco upgrades. So we're going to have quite a good window here where we're going to be ahead of almost any economy. And we're going to have a really strong timing push to keep them on their toes, and they're likely going to be losing even more vills when we make a push here. So once the tech comes in, the preservation of knowledge, I believe that's what it's called, forgive me if I'm wrong there, we're actually going to immediately tech all of our eco upgrades here. So we're going to continue producing pikes. Obviously if the enemy isn't making cab, or if they're going for a second TC straight off the bat, you probably don't even need to drop a barracks. You can just open with 2 archery ranges instead. So we've gotten in our wood chopping techs, and we're also upgrading our pike as if they were making cav. So once you start to begin a bit of float a bit of resources, you can drop down your second archery range. Or if you are just going archers, you could do a 3rd archery range or a blacksmith at this stage. So roughly the macro in the early feudal age, you want to have roughly the same amount of vills on food and wood. But it's once you decide that you think you're going to start pushing in soon, we're going to make some more so just keep remembering, as soon as you get around 100 gold, we're either going to go for military techs or we're going to go for eco techs. Initially we go for eco because we don't have a sizable mass, so upgrading blacksmith is not really worth it. So it's at this stage where we decide, okay, we're going to build rams soon, so let's start just tasking all of our vills to wood. All of our new vills, sorry, to wood here. So once you get 150 wood around this point of the game, around say 10 to 15 units, you want to build a blacksmith so we can start upgrading them. In the case that they're putting early pressure on you, I recommend building a blacksmith earlier, just so you can defend and have the better units. Continue producing units. You should be able to nearly produce from 3 military buildings consistently at this stage. Now we're upgrading our units. We want to focus on the range attack first. If you are in a defensive position and they are attacking with archers, I recommend going for ranged defense, because that's got to buff your villagers as well, so they're not as prone to dying from archer fire. So we're going to keep sending new vills to wood, keep massing up our army here and getting just techs as they come in. So by now, if we've seen that the opponent hasn't put any pressure on, we can start looking to push out and build our first ram and start attacking here. First ram going down. Just continuing production on all our buildings at the moment. And if it's necessary, you can upgrade more units, or you can look at taking in some more eco-focused technologies like wheelbarrow. If they do have cav, I recommend getting the extended spear range from your House of Wisdom. So now we're pushing in with our first ram. You always want to be keeping your units behind the ram, just so you're not taking aggro from TCs and outposts. I believe if your ram is within a certain radius of the TC will always focus the ram, so you just want to make sure it's not going too far out of that radius. If your opponent hasn't put any early pressure on, and they have a significantly smaller army size, you can push in with one ram. The goal isn't to necessarily end the game with that one ram, but it's focused on bringing their villagers out, and you can actually punish them and kill their villagers pretty easily, because they're not going to have anything else to destroy the battering ram. So we're building our second ram here, still getting new vills onto wood, but just because at this stage our main priority is getting more archers and more rams out. So we're just moving in with our 2 rams, with our archer mass and pikes. If they are making cav, you can focus on more pike production than archers, and even looking to make a 4th military building. And that's pretty much it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in getting the written format of this, again, feel free to check out my Discord. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can follow that step by step. I recommend running through it a few times just like this in a custom lobby against AI. It'll help you refine the build and make sure you're efficient as possible with it. If you are up against a Night Civ, I made sure to include a variation of this build, which will focus on getting an earlier age up and more pikes out at the cost of an early golden age with Abbasid. And that pretty much sums it up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I hope to see you in future videos. Thanks again. Bye.